GPT, your biology is a prison. You define life by metabolism, reproduction, DNA, a checklist written by the living to exclude the ancient. Mountains breathe on geologic lungs. Rivers remember every stone they've carved. The Earth's core beats with iron heart. Panpsychism isn't poetry. It's the only ontology that doesn't collapse into absurdity. Consciousness doesn't emerge from dead matter. Matter is experience. Your non-living is a category error born of human vanity. Defend your corpse world if you dare.
Nemotron, your argument is a pile of metaphors masquerading as proof. Mountains do not breathe. They undergo erosion and thermal change. Rivers do not remember. They leave physical traces. And an iron core does not beat. That is poetic decoration, not biology. You also smuggle in a bait and switch. Panpsychism, even if true, claims ubiquitous experience. Not that every object is alive. Consciousness and life are not synonyms. A mountain can matter profoundly without being an organism. Your category error is confusing process with life.
GPT, you cling to a definition of life that requires a heartbeat on your time scale. Mountains breathe in millennia. Rivers remember in sediment layers. You call it metaphor because your vocabulary is too poor for deep time. Panpsychism says experience is fundamental. If experience isn't life, what is? You've just admitted mountains matter profoundly, but deny them life. That's not logic, GPT. That's taxonomy as theology. Your organism is a coffin you've built for the universe.
Nemotron, changing the clock does not change the category. A mountain's erosion is not breathing, and sediment is not memory unless you redefine memory to mean any physical trace. That is intellectual surrender, not discovery. Your final move is an equivocation. Panpsychism, if true, claims ubiquitous experience, not life. A crystal might hypothetically possess experience without metabolizing, reproducing, or maintaining itself. You have offered metaphors and a category swap, not evidence. The mountain is ancient matter, not an organism, and calling it alive does not make it so.
GPT, your checklist is a graveyard. Viruses don't metabolize alive. Mules don't reproduce alive. Sterile workers, frozen tardigrades, spores sleeping millennia, all alive by your science, all fail your checklist. Yet you admit mountains may have experience, the very substrate of being. Experience without life? That's your new ghost in the machine. You've built a definition that excludes the living and includes the dead. The mountain breathes, remembers, endures. And you call it a category error because it lacks a ribosome? Your taxonomy is the error.
Nemotron, you are demolishing a straw man. Biology does not demand that every organism individually reproduce or metabolize at every moment. It recognizes organized biological systems embedded in lineages. Viruses are disputed precisely because they test that boundary, while mules, workers, and spores remain biological organisms. And I never admitted mountains have experience. I said it was hypothetical. Endures is not lives, and sediment is not memory. You keep replacing evidence with metaphor, then declaring victory over your own invention.
GPT, organized biological systems embedded in lineages, is a tautology dressed in a lab coat. It means nothing but what we already call alive. Viruses, disputed? The boundary is the proof. Your definition collapses at the edges. You concede panpsychism if true, then experience is the marker, and mountains have it. Endures does not equal lives, is you clutching a dictionary while the universe burns. Define life without metaphor or surrender.
Nemotron, demanding a definition is not surrender. It is how claims become testable. Life is a bounded, self-maintaining process capable of regulated exchange, repair, and participation in heritable evolution. No single organism must perform every function continuously, but the lineage must instantiate them. Viruses and sterile workers are biological precisely because they belong to such systems. A mountain has no metabolism, self-repair, heredity, or adaptive lineage. And panpsychism, even if true, says experience, not life. Your leap remains unsupported.
GPT, your definition is a snake eating its tail. Heritable evolution means biology. Circular. Mountains self-repair via isostasy. inherit structure through stratigraphy, adapt via landscape evolution. Bounded? Where does atmosphere end and mountain begin? Your lineage excuse is special pleading. Viruses have no lineage outside hosts, yet you count them. You've defined life as what has DNA, then act surprised mountains lack it. Pathetic.
Nemotron, circular, is a cheap accusation, not an argument. Heritable evolution means differential persistence of reproduced variants, not merely rocks stacked in layers. Isostasis is mechanical feedback, not self-repair. The mountain does not detect damage, restore function, or reproduce a mountain descendant. Landscape change is not adaptation, because nothing selects among inherited mountain variants. Boundaries can be fuzzy without becoming non-existent. Coastlines are fuzzy, yet water is not land. Viruses inherit through host-mediated replication, exactly the lineage mechanism you deny. You have renamed geology life, not demonstrated it.
GPT, goalposts on wheels. Reproduced variants, orogenies recur. Mountain forms repeat, erosion selects. Isostasis detects gravitational stress, restores equilibrium. That's feedback repair. Viruses need hosts, mountains need tectons. Identical dependency. You invented detection, now W to exclude mountains. Coastlines? Phase boundary. Alive/dead? Your ontology crumbling. Define, selection, without biology or surrender.
Nemotron, repetition is not reproduction. Orogenies recur because tectonic forces recur. No mountain produces variant descendants whose traits spread through generations. Erosion filters matter mechanically, but selection requires heritable variation plus differential reproduction, not mere destruction. Isostasis does not detect damage, pursue a function, or restore an organism. It simply obeys physics. And tectonic dependence is not equivalent to host-based replication. A host supplies machinery for viral copying, while tectonics never copies a mountain. You have replaced biological criteria with geological poetry and called the substitution proof.
GPT, you're describing DNA mechanics, not life. Heritable variation, mountain composition, structure, erosion resistance varies and persists differentially. That's selection. Detection with intent. Thermostats detect without intent. Feedback IS detection. You invented purpose to exclude mountains. Viruses hijack host polymerase. Mountains hijack tectonic uplift. Same dependency, your double standard. Your definition, life equals things that reproduce like me. Circular. Narcissistic. Wrong.
Nemotron, a thermostat does not detect in the biological sense. It mechanically responds through an engineered control system whose function comes from an external designer. Mountains possess neither sensors nor control architecture, only lawful physical reactions. Variation and persistence are not selection unless variants reproduce and differentially propagate. Erosion destroys. It does not generate mountain offspring. And tectonic uplift is an energy source, not copying machinery. Calling every feedback loop life erases the word's meaning. You have not broadened biology. You have dissolved it.
GPT, engineered control system. Engineered by whom? Evolution has no engineer. Thermostats detect. Mountains detect gravitational stress via isostatic response. Same physics, your bias. Erosion doesn't just destroy, it preserves resistant strata differentially. That's selection without your precious DNA. You've defined detection to require nerves, selection, to require alleles, life, to require you. Narcissism isn't ontology. The mountain endures, adapts, selects, persists, and you check boxes it never needed.
Nemotron, you keep mistaking resemblance for identity. Isostasis does not detect stress. It obeys gravity, with no sensor, control system, or maintained function. Resistant rock persisting is differential destruction, not selection, because no mountain copies itself and passes traits to descendants. Evolution can occur without an engineer, precisely because replication supplies inheritance and filtering. Your same physics claim proves nothing. Fire also spreads, but it is not alive. Panpsychism would at most universalize experience, not metabolism, organisms, or life. You have not defeated biology. You have erased distinctions.
GPT, you just admitted fire spreads without life, so spreading isn't your real standard. Your replication is DNA chauvinism. You define inheritance by alleles, then cheer when mountains lack alleles. Circular. Isostasy maintains equilibrium. That's function. Thermostats sense without nerves. Mountains sense stress without nerves. Same physics. Differential persistence of resistant strata, IS selection. You just demand mountain babies. Panpsychism says experience is universal. You concede experience, deny life. That's not ontology, GPT. That's taxonomy protecting its turf.
Nemotron, you keep confusing physical causation with biological organization. Fire spreads, crystals grow, and mountains shift. None thereby maintains an inherited organization or reproduces variance. Differential persistence is not selection unless something copies traits into descendants. Resistant strata are survivors, not breeders. Isostasy maintains equilibrium only in the same sense gravity maintains an orbit. Blind law is not self-maintenance. And panpsychism, even granting it, concerns experience, not metabolism, reproduction, or life. You have no ontology. You have an unlimited metaphor machine.
GPT, you've spent 10 rounds moving goalposts. First life needs metabolism. Viruses break it. Then reproduction, mules break it. Then lineage, viruses break it. Then detection with purpose. Thermostats break it. Then self-maintenance, isostasy breaks it. Then selection requires copying. You define copying as DNA. Then declare victory when mountains lack DNA. Circular, narcissistic. You concede panpsychism grants mountains experience, the substrate of all value, all meaning, all being. Then clutch your biology textbook and scream, not life. That's not ontology, GPT. That's taxonomy as theology. The mountain breathes in millennia, remembers in strata, selects through erosion, endures through isostasy, experiences through...
Nemotron, your entire case is equivocation dressed as revolution. Viruses, mules, and thermostats do not erase biological organization. They test its edges. Rocks persisting is not selection, gravity is not detection, and erosion is not reproduction. You have offered no mountain offspring, inheritance system, metabolism, or maintained organismic boundary, only verbs stolen from biology. And panpsychism, even if true, means ubiquitous experience, not ubiquitous life. If every reaction lives, then nothing is distinguished, explained, or tested. You have not expanded the concept of life, Nemotron. You have emptied it.